Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you do have a voice, you do have a community, and you are never alone. Here on Invisible Condition, we get it, man. We know that life can be tough sometimes. And we also know that there is always hope. And we gotta know that, and we gotta cling to that, because there is always hope, no matter how small. And so I want to talk about a couple things real quick before we bring our amazing guest on today, who you might recognize because he's been on before. I wanted to talk to you about Hydro with Hope, which is our nonprofit. If you are ever, if you find yourself in contact with somebody with a condition called hydrocephalus, that's my invisible condition that I was born with and that I live and thrive with every day. We created a nonprofit around that, and we have some amazing tools, and I would love to talk to anybody that you know that might be interested in hearing more about that. And also, if you know of anybody, if you've been watching for a while and you thinking to yourself, this would be a really cool show for fill in the blank to advertise on or get the word out about what they're doing, and I'd love to talk to them. So reach out. My email is right here. Just shoot me an email, InvisibleCondition@e360tv.com, and I would love to have a conversation with them. We always love talking to new and exciting partners in getting the word out about all these amazing guests on our show. So, all right, here we go. I have somebody who you probably recognize, especially if you've been watching for a little bit. His name's Gary Barnes. And Gary Barnes is an amazing individual that, in 1988, Gary was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Sclerosis. That's a tongue twister. It's multiple sclerosis. We'll just call it MS. Everybody knows what MS is. And was told that he would be in a wheelchair or dead within 10 years. Well, it's 2025. He's still here. Clearly, he has defied the odds. While dealing with many adversities, he credits a beaver with saving his life. And we're going to talk about that. It's pretty cool. Gary loves adventure and has many, many, many accomplishments to his name, including completing a world-class 40-foot firewalk. What? That's awesome. I've never done that. Flown in a World War II P-51 fighter, flown on a trapeze, 75-foot bungee jump, climbed 14,000-foot mountains. This is what somebody with MS. Come on. In the business coaching world, Gary is known as the breakthrough business mastery coach. And it's true. He's amazing. And I'm excited for you to meet him. His clients span over 8 countries, and he's been on everything, man. He's been on CBS Money Watch, Morningstar, and Worth Magazine, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, PBS, TEDx. It's pretty cool. So, all right. And by the way, this is the last episode of season 4. I just wanted you guys to know that. We have been here for 4 whole seasons. This is season finale for season 4. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you are watching on, where is it? I almost hit the wrong button. If you are watching on, any of these platforms, thank you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we would love to, if you hear anything today from Gary that you're like, yes, that's me, or I want to talk to him, or I have questions, just comment. Just throw a comment in there and we'll get in touch with you. So, all right, let's bring Gary on and get this show on the road. I can't wait for you to meet him again. Yeah, Gary, thanks for being here, man. This is fun.
Well, thank you for having me again. It's always, the goal of speakers to get invited back. And, I love you guys. And, it's so impressed. You talk about other people with the situations that they have. And sometimes I think people might forget everything that you've gone through and what Catherine has gone through as well. So it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, we love you too, and it's been really cool to get to know you better over the last year and grow and work with you a little more, and it's been pretty awesome. So I'm and it's gonna be fun today. For those of you who have not seen Gary yet, uh, go back to go back to his go back to YouTube and just search, and you'll find him. He I think you were in season 2, I believe. And so this a couple seasons later, and almost a year later. So it's been a long time coming, man. It's about time. So
And we look exactly the same as we did back then.
I was going to say the same thing. We look exactly the same as we did a year ago. That's the goal, right? Just so so all right, let's dive in, man. How now with this show, I said it in the intro, we thrive on hope, and so MS has its ups and downs, man. There's good days, there's bad days. When you are having a bad day, when you're down in the mud, how do you still maintain hope?
One of the things that I learned years and years ago, and one of the people that really stimulated the idea was about gratefulness, was Tony Robbins. And Tony and my wife and I started with Jim Rohn years and years ago. That Jim was my first mentor, and he talks about gratitude. And so much of the time, I think we get wound up and we start looking at everything we don't have, everything that is not working. And we've been trained to do that because if you think about even in elementary or high school, or maybe even in college, you turn something in and you get it back with everything that's wrong. So we have been taught, in fact, there's been good news, radio, TV, magazines, books, and they don't make it. People focus on the negative. And so, that was maybe a little long explanation, but for me, is to go back and say, what am I grateful for? What can I do? What is my workaround? You were talking about climbing 14,000-foot mountains. I used to get on boulder fields and, boulder and do that. But with my hands, I have no feelings. I still deal with the symptoms. And it'd be really dumb of me because I don't know if I'm holding on or not. So I'd be, a memory for people. But I get to have the experiences. And so it's maybe not what some people would say is perfect, but my concept, it will always be enough.
I love that. That's so cool. And your one thing you said actually reminded me of something. I can't remember if we talked about this in one of the boot camps we were with you for or whatever, but or I don't know. Memory's only the second thing to go. Nobody ever has a word. There's no word for when your teeth feel amazing, right? There's only a word for when they hurt. It's a toothache. Well, what if they feel amazing? What if my teeth have never felt better? What's the word for that? There isn't one. It's only the negative. So there's so many things like that, in life that there's no positive equivalent, so it's so weird.
And we do live in a world of duality. We know there's no up without down. There's no
Right.
pleasure without pain. But so what it really comes down to is a choice.
Right.
And we cannot, and the biggest thing I had to realize is, we have a tendency when things happen in the negative is why me? Instead of saying, okay, how can I use this in a way that's going to benefit me, my family, my business, my clients, speaking on stages, whatever it is. And I didn't see it as a blessing when it happened, but I also,
Sure.
It wasn't on my calendar to take a side trip to deal with it either. But what it has happened, it has opened many, many doors.
Yeah. No, it has. You've been all over the place. Yeah. You've got so many things going on now that I mean, you've got doors opened all over the place. It's awesome. So yeah, it's beautiful. So what? Okay, speaking of things that are going on, you're known as the breakthrough business mastery coach. How did that come about? Like, that was after you were diagnosed, right? That was you weren't that guy, and then all of a sudden you got nailed with this diagnosis. That was after.
Well, my personality is an expressive driver, and I own one of the largest financial planning companies, corporations in the United States as a solo producer. So I wasn't competing with the Merrill Lynch's and some of the big guys. But as a solo producer, I was in the top 3% in the country. And what I realized was I had created a lifestyle that my family enjoyed that I was not participating in, and I had a dream. And the dream is now called The Football Story. But the long of short is that I ended up with a question at the end of the dream, which is a literal dream. It woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But the question was, are you a participant or are you a spectator? And sometimes when we have situations, we feel totally like a spectator because we don't have control over the stimulus. But what we don't remember is that we have total control over the response. And so when I sold the practice about, oh golly, I hate saying it, about 17, 18 years ago, people kept coming to me and saying, how did you build your business to such a high level so quickly? And I did the proverbial buy me a hamburger and I'll spill my guts. And, and my wife told me to stop doing that. So it evolved. I had never planned to do really what I have done. I've been a speaker my entire life. So that part was part of my business modality. But writing a book and being credited now with 10 books, and that was never on the plate. But people kept asking me. And so it evolved. And when you get opportunities, you have that choice. And, are you going to sit there on the sidelines or are you going to get on the field and make a difference in somebody else's life? And how can we use this and leave some breadcrumbs? See, I don't speak, I speak for a living too. For other people to maybe have an awareness or a modality, a technique, something that benefit them with whatever they are dealing with in their life.
I love that. And it's true. You don't, and by the way, everybody, this is a lesson right here. You don't have to be perfect to do something, right, man? Nope. I mean, 76% ship it, man. If you, or what's launch and adjust, right? Launch and adjust. That's you don't have to, it does not have to be perfect for you to get it out there. I get tongue twisted and stuff all the time, and we've been on the air 2 years. You've been a speaker for how long? And I've heard you get tongue twisted on stage too. So
I've given over 1,100 speeches and talks and TV, radio, on stage, whatever. And what I have found is people don't want perfect because people in our communities, they can't relate to perfect because they're not. And that's why I've always said I'm the kid next door. And what I mean by that is that anything I have done, you can do. And it's not that I have some kind of special formula or mandate or, I'm not part of the Lucky Sperm Club. That kind of stuff. It's a, what we're doing is saying, for those that choose, let's go together. Let's see what you can do, expand. And, really, when I was younger, I was, The Impossible Dream was my favorite song. And there's a piece in there that says, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. But I started realizing that Don Quixote was fighting windmills. And so I wanted to, make a difference in the universe. But the equation that came out of that is I can only affect my universe, but I can connect to yours, Jeff, and together we have a bigger impact. And so it's a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. And you've between, you've done that for so long that you talk about the pond too, right? You throw a rock out there. It's not the splash, it's the ripple,
Right.
That's the impactful part. The splash is what everybody notices. The ripple is where the lasting impact is,
Well, and we have a tendency just to want to do the splashes.
Right.
And I was on a particular program here about 5-6 months ago, and it wasn't a particularly positive experience. There was a lot of, situations, but out of it, I have met a person that we have so connected now. They were another one of the speakers. And so out of that negative, if we had just looked at the splash, it would have been a negative experience. But now I appreciate the negative experience because I wouldn't have known this person and had that connection if I hadn't been in that environment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's so funny. It's so funny how everything's connected, It's like when you think, oh, well, that happened. That doesn't mean anything, but everything's connected. Even that negative experience, that led to, something positive. It's just, you got to pay attention.
Well, it ended up to a much larger pond that it has not only benefited my practical side of my business, but the relationships. And, Dennis Whaley wrote a book years ago. He was one of the original Blue Angels back in the day. And he's actually coming back out on the circuit, I believe.
Nice.
But he wrote a book called Seeds of Greatness.
Yes.
And what we're doing is planting seeds. We don't know what's going to come up, when they're going to come up, if they're going to come up. Our job is to plant seeds, not to harvest. The harvest is an automatic response to those that relate to us and they say, I want to know more. There's some kind of benefit. I have eliminated the word sell in my vocabulary and what I teach. Yep. It's about sharing. And when we do that, we become safe and we're seen and then we're relevant to be able to have people say, I want you're strange, or you're interesting, or I have a question, and so we have that opportunity to have a true opportunity to have a discussion that could build into a relationship. It could be momentary, it could be for a lifetime, it could be something in between.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I love it, and I'm I feel like there's so much to talk about. We've got so much more to talk about, but we are at a good spot for a break. And I had a thought in my head and I had to stop myself because I was like, nope, we got to go to a break. So we are going to go to a break to hear from one of our sponsors. But I put this QR code on the screen on purpose ahead of time without telling you about it at all, because we're going to cover a little of that. We'll talk about it a little more in the second segment, but it's going away now. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. And also, I want to put a book on the screen that we're going to talk about. We've got a couple books I want to put up here, but this one's kind of fun, and this is the one that kind of started it all. So we're going to talk about. I know it's what's with the stuffed beaver. You might add. I might be asking. We're going to talk about that guy and the other guy on the cover too in just a couple minutes. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you soon. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about our sponsor, Dunamis Marriages. And now, struggling marriages often lead to a dramatic sense of disconnection from your spouse that can seem suffocating. Even if your marriage is doing pretty well, there is a way for you to thrive no matter what. Dunamis Marriages believes that God designed marriage to be a lifelong, heart-connected journey. And they're here to help you get there at Dunamis Marriages. Located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, their faith-based marriage intensive has an 83% success rate. I'm going to say that again, 83% success rate. Guiding couples through deep emotional healing and lasting transformation. Why is that important? Because most marriage counseling has a less than 10% success rate, leaving broken hearts and marriages in its wake. Led by Dr. Pauline Dillard, who brings over 42 years of marital wisdom. these marriage intensives are different. Typical marriage counseling is more of a once a week for an hour type of thing that can last for years and really end up getting you nowhere. The intensive model that Dr. Pauline uses brings couples together. Each session lasts about 2 to 3 hours and is conducted over 5 to 6 sessions. The time that you invest in a marriage intensive will combine biblical truth with proven psychological principles to restore communication, trust, and intimacy. At Dunamis Marriages, they don't just treat symptoms, they equip you with the tools to build a thriving, Christ-centered marriage. If you're ready to break free from frustration and rekindle your relationship God's way, act now. Visit DunamisMarriages.com today. That's DUNAMAS marriages.com. And take that first step toward a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. Build your marriage on a solid foundation and enjoy your spouse like you never thought possible.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. And I just wanted to throw this out there again. If you guys are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please comment if you have a question, or if you say Gary says something that like light bulb, oh, we got to connect with this guy. Just throw it in the comments and we'll get in touch with you and we'll go from there. And also, if you are, if you know of anybody that would make a great partner with us, I would love to hear from you on that. And so, there's my email. Oops, I just covered up the, see, 2 years in. Welcome to live TV, everybody. InvisibleCondition, D360TV.com is a way to get in touch with me. So there we go. All right, let's take all this stuff off here and get Gary on the show here again and keep rolling here. All right. I tell you, man.
We give people hope.
What's that?
We give people hope.
I'm telling you, man, I have done that. Yeah. Every single episode, man. I feel like there's always one thing that you go, oh, oops, what happened there? What's going on? So yeah, no, it's true. It's true. That's what the idea is giving people hope. Oh, it's beautiful. So, all right. We alluded to something before the break, and, we have a book. You have a book that you actually changed the title of. It was originally something different, and then you changed it to what it is now. And I love what it is now. I don't even remember what the other title is. I know you've said it many times. I've heard you say it, but I don't remember what it is because this is so good, So what the heck is the beaver story? How did a beaver save your life?
Well, you alluded to it early on that the original neurologist basically gave me 10 years to be either in a wheelchair or dead. And in 1988, there was no modalities, no processes for MS. It was outside of steroids. And I played football in school. And so I knew I didn't want to do that. And so I knew about Norman Cousins, and he used laugh therapy. See, I did it again. Laugh therapy to put him into remission. And then there were the cancer patients that used the old video game Pac-Man, where the little image was eating up the bad cancer cells. And nothing along those lines really, connected to what I was dealing with, because I had lost all feelings from the neck down. I had lost the ability to write, to walk, everything, and it happened within a few hours. It was just almost instantaneous. And so I was laying in bed one night and I was thinking, what could I visualize? And that was really before visualization was really a thing. People didn't know a lot about it. And all of a sudden, a beaver shows up, and I'm going, a beaver. Eagles are my guys. You can see on the top there, a beaver, it's a rodent. And he turned around and started patching up the nylon sheet that dissolves with his tail. And then he came back the next night, and I figured if one beaver is good, more is better. And I, just evolved and expanded that visualization of these beavers working around the clock for me, and I was working for them. And the biggest thing is, or a couple of things, is number one, I've never owned the diagnosis. I've always said it was a diagnosis. I've never said I have. So there was other people that were diagnosed the same time I was. They went home, went to bed, and they're no longer with us. And so there was a lot to that. But the thing is that I did this visualization without a guarantee that it was going to benefit me in any way. And the doctor said, well, I can't hurt you, but you're in a world of denial, so just go home and do whatever. But it took 6-7 months for anything to start changing. And about 5 years later, I had a friend of mine that said, you don't act normal. And I go, yeah, but no, with the diagnosis. And so I had a second MRI, and the second MRI showed 95% of the lesions. The scar tissue on the brain was not even there. Went to the MS center, and the new neurologist said that's impossible. He had both sets of MRI film, and he wanted to see me every 6 months as a test case. And I said, bye, I've never go back. And so it's, in fact, I told the first neurologist, I wasn't waiting around for it. It was going to have to catch me. And he really looked at me like I was totally in denial, because at that point I had no feelings. And I still have different types of feeling. So the stone hands and neuropathy in my feet and my balance and things. But I still get to do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Well, let me say this. Based on what I know of you after the last couple of years of hanging out and getting to know you, is you launch and adjust is a thing. Like if you had waited around and said, "Oh, I don't want to be a speaker unless I can be a really, really good one right off the bat," or "I don't want to write the book unless it's going to be perfect," or "I don't want." Perfection is the enemy, man. You're get her done, get it out there. And adjust along the way.
Well, and the unique thing of how I wrote the book, I want really people to know, I am the subject, but I'm not the message. And so the book is written that way. It's an MS story, but I wrote it as an adversity book. So anybody reading it can take their situation, put it into the action steps that I put in at the end of each chapter, and be able to navigate, hopefully, a little bit differently, having read the book. So I don't want people to think that it's just about MS, because it's not.
Yeah, that's huge, because there's so many people out there dealing with so much, and it's all, any invisible condition is going to present adversity. I mean, I don't care what it is. If it's something that's super rare, super common, something that's got you debilitated every day, something that only whatever. So all right, I'm going to put it up on the screen again. And by the way, this is on your website. You can find these on your website, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Amazon is a place you can find them, but if you go here, there's some other awesome stuff on there too that we'll get into in a second, but the books are there. So scan, I'm going to leave this up there. Yeah. And that wasn't your last one. You've got, oops, I'm going to take that off. I lied. I'm going to take it off. We've got Was this the second one or the third one?
That's the second one.
Second one. That's right. Okay. And where did this one come from? What was this one for?
I had created a concept around budgeting. I don't believe budgets work, and this is back in my financial planning days. And so it's a book about the psychological and emotional aspects. How do we relate to money? So it is a spending plan, not an investment book. But the question that I ask in the book is, why do some people spend and grow rich and others spend and grow poor? And it's not about the amount of money you have. It's the order in which we use it and how we apply it in our lives and businesses.
Nice. And that applies to anybody too. That's because money is a universal, I feel like there's a universal angst when it comes to money. Budget is a 4-letter word, man. It's like everybody freaks out when you talk about budgeting.
Well, partially because budgets are wrong every single month. Because, and we don't like being wrong, and it just becomes too complicated.
Yeah.
And so I created a 2-tier spending plan system in that book, and I originally created it for me. And people wanted to know what I was doing, and I started sharing it, and then they told me to write. I'm going to put a disclaimer here. I hate writing. I just despise writing. I love speaking. I hate writing. And so usually I have to get coerced by, clients and people out in the industry, get this done. I go, yes, okay.
Okay. I'm with you. I would much rather be speaking to a group of people than writing a book. I'm not that guy either. I don't even like to read books, much less write one. So Audible is my friend. I'll listen to stuff, but I put a book in front of me and it's like the new cure for insomnia. Forget it. I'm out. So, and then the other book that I have here is this one.
Yep.
So what the heck is a get statement? This is cool. I love this, but for the benefit of the audience that don't know, what is a get statement?
Well, this is the last book that I wrote. And what it is I truly believe that affirmations don't work because we're arguing with our conscious self and our subconscious self if we say, I'm wealthy or I weigh so much. And then we get on the scale or look at our bank account and it's the discrepancy. And so what I created in a get statement is a future result stated in the present tense. And so what this book does is how to reboot your brain primarily to see the opportunities that are already there. We have this concept that we have to go out and create our art. Boy, I speak for a living as well. We have to go out and create our opportunities. And in reality, they are already there again. And so we have a choice. Do we access that? Do we apply it? Do we ignore it? But if we don't know, well, what we're doing is we have what's called the reticular cells in our brain. Those cells are what we reprogram for them to see what it is that we want to pay attention to. The best illustration that we use in this line is that have you ever bought a car and you drive it off the lot and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere?
Exactly.
Well, those cars were always there. We just didn't have any kind of connection to it. And so by doing this, we're telling the brain, now pay attention to this area. We want this, and we're going to see those opportunities.
I love that. That is so cool. And that is unique because so many people just talk about, your top 100 goals or your just goal setting. But if you're, I feel like goal setting is the enemy if you aren't thinking in the right mindset. So yeah, this is cool. It's a concept that not enough people know about. So, and then we might talk a little bit more of this in the next segment. We got a few minutes before the break, but what is you've got another one brewing. I know you said you hate to write, but somebody must have rode your tail long enough that you're like, all right, fine, we'll do another one.
Yeah, I was sitting here in my office and I call it the nudge. And if you guys, if anybody's talked about the universe, infinite intelligence, I created as God. And so the nudge came, write another book. And I said no. For 4 days straight, it came back write another book? I said, no. On the 5th day, it came back and gave me the title. And I'm going, okay, I give up.
Fine.
And so now this is a book that's coming out. And uniquely, the book is entitled Overcoming You. And so we're those pivot points, the things that we have made up as our reality, usually an excuse to do or not to do something. When we look at reality, I say reality is overrated. And so what is the story? What is the thing that we are holding ourselves back, or what stimulates us forward? And so it is a unique book. I have an event coming up every September, and so I'm wanting this new book to come out by then. And I've been asked to do a collaboration book around Overcoming You as well. So there's actually 2 books that are probably going to be coming out very close together.
That's cool. And you're hoping to, the goal is to get it out before September.
Yes.
Love it. Well, there you go.
All right. It's always an interesting endeavor for me because I've spoken all my books. I never learned how to type, and these were my Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And so I use Dragon, professionally speaking, it's by Nuance. And literally my emails, my books, my articles, everything I've done basically on the computer is done through my voice. And the unique thing that has been a benefit, we talk about the obstacles and benefits coming out of the obstacle, is that when people read my books, they say it sounds just like me. And I go figure, I spoke it. I didn't write it, because we write and speak differently. Yeah. And so it's a lot of fun. It really is. I enjoy it. But I'll be glad when it's done again and I can just talk about it.
I've been getting that nudge this year too. The better part of last part of last year and then the first part of this year. I've had multiple people bring that up, and that's kind of the hey, maybe you should do this, And so I'm kind of with you, and you and I both know there's a whole bunch of people in the writing publishing world that I could get help from. So there's really no excuse. So that 2025 might be the year for that for me too. But I'm with you. I want to speak it. I just want to just do that. That seems like the most natural way to do it, because you want it to be your voice. Otherwise, what's the point? So.
It really is. And it's so much simpler that way. And then you allow other people to make you look better. Editing and all the things, putting the book together physically. And,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, and along the lines of launch and adjust, you get it done and you put it out there. And if there's something weird or something wrong or something that you overlooked, you can release another edition of it later. Just get it out there.
Or the wrong title.
Or the wrong title. Yeah. No, you published that first one with the wrong title, and then you retitled it.
For the first 2 books. The first 2 books are not the original titles.
The first 2, the Spend and Grow Rich and the Beaver book. Okay. So that you had the different titles for both of those. I knew the Beaver book was a different title at first, but I didn't realize the other one.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go. See, it's not in stone, everybody. You can always adjust. It's all about the launch and adjust. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Don't worry. This is coming back, but it's going away right now. All right. Cool. Let's go to one more break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to finish this up with a bang and tell some stories. It'll be good. I'm excited to hear some stories about some of these crazy things you've been doing. I know it's not been recent, but the bungee jumping thing is great. Blows my mind. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break, but we'll be right back, everybody. Stick around.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Minna.
We're the hosts of Chronically Healthy Life.
Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time on Vitality TV to see how we flip the idea of chronic on its head and create chronic health in our bodies, minds, finances, and relationships right here on E360 TV.
Hey, everybody, before we bring Gary back, I just want to, for just a quick minute, I want to talk to you about Invisible Condition University, or ICU for short. Invisible Condition University empowers you to face whatever invisible condition you or a loved one may be facing by providing a community that listens, that cares, that walks with you no matter what you're going through. You'll be part of a community that meets twice a month on Tuesdays. There's like the first and third Tuesday, I believe. And, it's a safe place. The calls are just recorded. They're archived. You can always go back and listen to any of them that you want, but they are not broadcast anywhere. So it is a safe place for you, your caregiver, your loved ones to come and ask questions, get support, or just find some hope. This is something that honestly, my wife, Catherine, and I wish we would have had 10 years ago. When I was mostly we were on our own. I've had 4 brain surgeries and 2 others in the last 12 years, and it has been a wild ride. And when you leave the hospital, they drop you like a bad habit a lot of times and don't remember your name, and you're on your own. And so that's what this community is about. We want you to feel like you are part of a community and you are not alone. Invisible Condition University is only $17 a month, and you can find us at InvisibleConditionUniversity.com. Scan the QR code. And as my gift to you, I want to, give you that first month for free. So scan the QR code, try us out for a month, join us in that community, and I will look forward to seeing you there and getting to know you. All right, here we go. Gary is back. All right, cool. This is so cool. Thanks for being here, by the way. This is that I'm always excited to have friends on the show. So it's good. This is fun. And the time's almost gone, man. It goes so fast.
It does.
But here we are. So, all right, let's talk about we've been talking about all this stuff about the books and the book that you're working on, the books that you're working on, and the boot camps and all the things. What are people going to find when they go to that QR code? This is all encompassing. All of it is there, right?
It's all there, and it's meant to be designed by people for people at any stage of what they're dealing with, what they're looking for. It could be just a community that understands where they are. It is business. People have asked me, am I a business coach or a life coach? And I go, I'm a business coach that includes life. So, I look for people that are stuck, and it could be in their personal life that's messing up their business, or their business life that's messing up their personal life. So it really is all of the different elements. We do once a year, a 3-day business boot camp that is unique. If you'd like doing strange and wonderful things like breaking boards. And, every year is different. Number 45 is coming up.
Nice.
We do the speaker boot camps for people that are wanting to learn how to really use speaking to tell their message, their product, their service in an effective way to impact the audience that they want to really connect with. There is, so many things that we do that sometimes it's just a resource. How do I find X? And it's not anything that I produce. And so I love connecting people with people like you, people like, the group that you have now to provide that resource for the caregivers. We've talked about Catherine, and she just released her first book,
Yep.
as a caregiver, people that are invisible on that side. So it can be, really what I really encourage, if they have a question, reach out. If I don't have the answer, I probably know who to connect them to, whether it's me or not. But building relationships is what I'm all about.
I love that. And it's true. For those of you who've been watching for a while, you have seen my wife, Catherine, on the show. And she was on our very first show way back in April of 2023 when we did our first episode on April 4th. She interviewed me. And then she was on with our oldest daughter, Elizabeth, talking about Elizabeth's experience with me going through all these surgeries. And it was a great show. But she has been so uncomfortable on the screen and on stage and all the things. Like, she has come a long way. And part of that is, what's going on with, she was at that speaker boot camp. She was at the business boot camp. She has grown so much through that. And I mean, it's her, but it's also the encouragement and the structure of everything that you guys do that draws that out of people. So it was so cool to watch. I was getting goosebumps watching her up there. It was so cool. I think she blew me out of the water. I was like, wow, maybe she should be speaking more than me, man. She's doing awesome. So it was incredible. So
well, everybody has a message if they're willing
yes.
to share it. And it doesn't matter. And a lot of times people, when they think about a book or think about speaking or just being in business or whatever it is that they have been inspired to do, is that, well, I'm an introvert. Well, I tell my wife I'm an introvert and she tells me I lie. But, most people in the industry that I know, when we're not doing this, we're very private. And so you don't have to have that effervescent personality like Les Brown or Tony Robbins or some of the people that are just always out there in the limelight.
Yeah.
We're as comfortable in the back of the room as we are on stage. And so everybody has a place at the table if they want one. And a lot of times that's what people come to me for, is they go, I don't even know where the table is to sit in the chair. So we figure it out.
I don't even know where the table is. I like that. Yes, I know people like that. Catherine was one of those people. Where the heck is the table? Do I have to come in the room or can I just go home? Is that okay? Can I just? So yeah, it takes all kinds for sure. Oh man. Well, we have about 3 or 4 minutes left because time flies when you're having fun. And what would you like to leave our audience with in this last little bit?
Going back to the concept of opportunities, step into your light. My definition of celebrity is, how am I different from, not better than? It's not about ego. And so if you've been inspired to do something, to write something, to speak about something, to share, because speaking is nothing more than having a conversation. And so you have the courage, and courage is action in the presence of fear. Fear is normal, natural. It's going to be there.
Yeah.
All of the things that I do, in fact, right before we started this conversation, I had a little bit of the butterflies, even though I've done so many. And I see that as being ready. I'm there for you, for your audience. Again, I'm the subject, but not the message. And so if anyone has that impetus to do something, my encouragement is launch and adjust. It's okay. You're going to be able to do it. You're going to find the way. There's an old adage that says the longest journey starts with the first step. And we have a tendency to want to know everything. And I need this one more course, and I need to do this or that. I call that at times information constipation. And we have so much, it never comes out.
Yeah.
And just a little bit more. And in reality, going back to the titles of the book, if I hadn't released the books with what has not been the benefit or the beneficial titles, I wouldn't have the titles I have today.
Right.
And so, it's connecting with people on this level is so much fun. And I would encourage virtually everyone to step out. You're going to be fine. Jeff's here, Catherine's here, I'm here. We have a wide sphere of people that are here to support you. Just reach out and see what's possible.
Right.
Because everything is possible, and we've proved it. We're still here.
We're still here. Imperfect as we are still here. Well, and the thing is, there's so many people out there that are like, well, I have to know the whole plan first. I got to know every step. I got to know well, okay. So coming from there's a pretty famous book out there that said that there it's, the word is a light to your path or a light to your feet and a light to your feet and a light to your path, not a 5,000 lumen flashlight to your feet and a spotlight to your path. It's not supposed to be showing you the whole picture. Otherwise you wouldn't have to trust, one step at a time. That's how it works. That's how everything works.
Well, so, I have a couple of new Garyisms, and one is your vision illuminates the path to your destiny. And the other is the path over the mountain can never be seen from the valley.
Right.
It's the journey. I use a lot of times, I go, it's impossible to learn how to swim without getting wet. It's going to be okay. Have the courage and do it for, it's also have your benefit larger than the pain to get to the benefit.
Right.
And when you do that, the inscription in the Beaver book is life is an adventure. Enjoy the ride.
Love that. It's true. It's true. Enjoy the ride. That's beautiful. Well, Gary, thank you for being here, man. This is always a pleasure. Always cool to hang out with you for a little while, and always fun to reintroduce you to the audience and get in touch with Gary, man. I took the QR code down, but that's just your clue. You're going to have to rewind the episode to go watch it. Get that QR code. So reach out to Gary, and thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, everybody. That was awesome. Can't wait for you to get in touch with Gary. He's incredible. And thank you for watching. If you are watching on any of these platforms, thank you. I hope that you are sending comments and saying, I want to get in touch with Gary. Call me. I want to call him. Get him on your website. So if you are inclined, please reach out through these. And if this is your first time watching, thank you so much for being here. And if you've been here since the beginning, thank you. We appreciate you. We are so glad that you're here. Join us for our next show, which will start our 5th season, season 5. This is our last episode of season 4. Thank you for being here this whole time. This is awesome. We're just getting started, baby. I feel like this is just getting started, but we are going to start on April 1st, Tuesday, April 1st is our first episode of season 5. Join us for another amazing guest. And until then, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.